Of TFNN. The Morning Markets Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 8:30 a.m. Wednesday morning, 60 minutes to go until that opening bell, and we got markets in positive territory, quite a rebound from the lows we had overnight. Right now, you're looking at the S&Ps positive by about 31 points, almost a full percent, trading at 33.66. We were as low as 32.95 at about 6 p.m. Eastern time last night. So quite a far cry. You're talking about 70 S&P points. Things looking a little bleak last night, but the market's turned around a bit. Dow Futures up 206 right now. That's a solid 0.75%, trading at 27,731. NASDAQ Futures up 178 points. 1.6% in the green, trading at 11,238. We have oil trading up 67 cents at 37.44 this morning. We get the gold contract off about $5 at 19.38. Notes and bonds, we're getting a little bit, I was going to say lower price, but it's ticked to flat right now. The 10-year flat at 139.12, the 30-year minus one tick at 176.08, and we're looking at a 10-year yield of about 0.68% right now. Over in Europe, you got the DAX up 1.2%, FTSE up 1.2% as well, CAC Carol up about 0.9. And in Asia, you pulled back following our markets yesterday. You have the Nikkei down a full percent, Shanghai down almost 2%. All right, jumping around to what we have going on, we'll start things off with the VIX this morning. The VIX, yesterday, when the market sold off, pretty interesting action in the VIX. I mean, you actually had the VIX nowhere near the peak that we had on Friday. Meanwhile, you had the markets going below the lows we had on Friday. Nonetheless, you end the day at 30.34 yesterday. You end the day at about 31 and change yesterday. We're currently trading about 30.36. VIX backing off a bit as we have some positive market action going on. All right, we'll jump right into it with stocks with action so far this morning. The news coming out last night, AstraZeneca, their potential vaccine for coronavirus, their trial stopped after a potential adverse effect. Those shares trading lower after the company said Tuesday its late-stage trial for a potential coronavirus vaccine had been put on hold due to safety concerns. They called a routine action. Nonetheless, there was one pretty adverse effect on that drug trial, and AstraZeneca, as you may expect. Is that it, AZN? Yeah, there we go. So the initial spike down to 50 on the dot this morning, pairing some of that. We're actually trading about 53.50 from 54.71. And you're going to see this, folks. This is why it's no simple feat creating a vaccine for this type. And I'm no doctor, but, from what I read, that's why you got to do all these trials. You have all the phase 3s completed. Unfortunately, it's getting a little political here with an election coming up on November 3rd. And you got to make sure everything is safe. And you had Dr. Fauci out there yesterday saying pretty improbable that you have a vaccine in the next 55 to 60 days. And that's an example why. You got to make sure these are safe before you push it out to the public for millions of people. All right, what else we got going on? So Tiffany, their deal falling through with LVMH, spiking from about 122.50 down to 100. We're up to about 111. That deal was going to get done at about 135. So initially, where are we? There we go. LVMH scrapping the $16.2 billion deal with Tiffany, pulling out of its acquisition. The French luxury goods giant cited the threat of U.S. tariffs on French goods and Tiffany's request to extend the deal deadline to the end of the year. Nonetheless, maybe just an excuse. The coronavirus pandemic has hit the luxury retail sector hard, throwing the deal into doubt. So they're pulling out. We'll see how that shakes out. But nonetheless, Tiffany trading lower, down about $10 today to $111.25 on that news. What else we got going on? Lulu out with their numbers last night. Pretty strong numbers. And Lulu trading lower this morning. Didn't quite live up to the hype in terms of the expectations. So revenue rising 2% to about $902 million for the quarter from $883 million a year earlier. The expectation was only for $842 million. Online sales up 157%. Getting into the numbers, they earned 74 cents a share. The market was only looking for 55 cents a share. The CEO said the retailer is, quote-unquote, cautiously optimistic about the rest of the year. They're not offering a 2020 outlook at the time. It said almost all, 97% of its stores globally have reopened to date, and store sales are averaging about 75% of their levels a year ago. On an adjusted basis, Lulu's net income shrank to $86 million or 66 cents a share from $125 million or 96 cents a share. Not bad numbers when you look at everything, right? Lulu ended the period with $523 million in cash and cash equivalents on the balance sheet. So at the end of June, they announced the plan to buy the at-home fitness company Mirror. So that company, that sells for $1,500. High-tech Mirror streams live workout classes. Closed that transaction early July. Lulu's looking to do more business in that connected fitness space, growing beyond its clothing business. Planning for the all-important holiday season, the CEO said Tuesday that Mirror's Mirror will be available for sale in 10 to 15 of the company's stores. Kind of interesting. They're getting into that. At the same time, you had Peloton coming out yesterday, decreasing the cost of their core bike. So maybe getting into a little bit of competition in terms of $1,500 used to be a cheap deal. In terms of, I believe Peloton was above $2,000. Now they're going to be under that $2,000 mark at about $1,800. Nonetheless, getting over to Lulu shares, and there you see the volatility. An initial spike, but we trade lower. Really, the escalation began on the conference call, trading down to about $324. But this morning, we're catching a little bit of a bid. We're up to about $335 right now on Lulu shares. And you also had Slack with their numbers last night. Not living up to really what they were looking for. Slack trades down almost $5. You're talking about almost 15% on that stock, trading at $24.36. We were trading at almost $30 on their numbers. All right, what else we got going on? Stocks making moves. We'll pull it up. We covered Tiffany. HD Supply, industrial distributor, reported quarterly profit of 83 cents a share, 10 cents above estimates, revenue in line with forecast. Facilities maintenance sales, better than expected, but construction industrial sales fell below forecast. HDS is their symbol. And there you see the pop from 39.29 to about 40. Navistar came out with their earnings. We're going to jump around here. Peloton. So Peloton's trading higher this morning. They got an upgrade. Peloton, $110. The firm notes strong demand and two upgrades, Cohen and Goldman Sachs. Strong demand during the pandemic and Tuesday's announcement of those new products we talked about. Piton, you'll see. Now Peloton sold off with the market a little bit yesterday, but we're right back up to almost the highs we had yesterday at Peloton, trading at about 89 so far this morning. We talked about AstraZeneca pausing their global trials of the COVID-19 vaccine. Lulu, their earnings as well. And let's get into those Slack numbers. So they've grown revenue by about 50% for the third quarter in a row. The company has not seen a change in its win rate against Microsoft. But when you get into things, earnings, 0. They broke even, adjusted. The market was looking for a loss of 3. Revenue, $216 million versus $209. The company reported a net loss of $73 million. They lost $360 million a year ago. Slack's entire quarter saw an impact from the pandemic as people became more reliant on online tools such as Slack and Zoom because of the restrictions. Slack did not disclose a new number of daily active users. There's a little bit of what the market is reacting to. The company said it had 12 million in October. In a conference call with reporters, CEO said that what matters is paying customers. The company said it had over 130,000. Nonetheless, Slack trading lower in a big way this morning. Stay tuned, folks. See what else we have on tap. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The gold market has taken off topside in a large way in 2020. If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my gold report. The Gold Report took profits in 4 of its equities in the gold portfolio in the first week of January for a combined profit of 99.2%, with 2 positions left in the portfolio that have a profit of 67.5% as of January 7th. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metals sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, GDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We got the markets in positive territory. S&P's up 27, NASDAQ up 146, Dow up 177, even the Russell up 9 points right now. I got a chart of Uber up here. Ride-hailing companies really charging higher yesterday in a big way. Uber a little bit lower this morning with the report out there from Lyft. Lyft higher as well, up to almost 31 yesterday. And Lyft reported a 7.3% increase in rides during August compared to a month earlier, although that was down 53% from a year earlier, right? So they're 7.3% up in August, but they're still basically half of what they were doing a year earlier. The ride-sharing company also said rides in the week ending September 6th, the highest since April. So the trend is going well, but nonetheless, big numbers in terms of where we were prior to the COVID shutdown. All right, what else we got going on? Northrop Grumman, I'll get there, won a $13.3 billion contract from the Air Force. Not a bad sale to close. Their stock trading from about $334 this morning. We got a bid ask of somewhere around $337 to $342 for the defense contractor. Under Armour, they're going to be laying off 600 workers as part of an ongoing restructuring. They're going to incur $235 million as a result. Athletic apparel maker also raised its restructuring cost for 2020 by $75 million to a total of $550 million to $600 million. Get that dollar sign correct, CNBC. What are you doing out there? Under Armour, there you see their pop from about trading pretty even today. Now, this company, be careful, folks. Yeah, look at that. From 22 down to 7. I mean, we're just hanging in this lower range. They have some problems anyway prior to COVID. We back this up. And I believe this was when, that's probably earnings. They got an accounting scandal potentially in here. The CEO left. Lots going on in this company and not in a good way. So Netflix, this is an interesting one. They are losing their head of global TV. I mean, quite a position. So Netflix Vice President of Original Content, Cindy Holland, she's exiting after 18 years. As Chief Content Officer Ted Sarandos, who recently stepped in the role of co-CEO, has moved to simplify the structure of the content team. In its new streamlined form, their executive, Bella Bajaria, maybe, is being elevated to Vice President of Global TV. I mean, there's talk about a position, folks, in terms of the power you wield, the budget you wield in that position. Netflix trading higher this morning to about $514 with the market, not necessarily on that news, from about 507. Speaking of the tech stocks, check this one out. 6 big tech stocks lost over $1 trillion in the rout that we've had in the last few days. So you got Apple, lost about $325 billion, Microsoft $219, Amazon $191, Google $135, and Tesla crashed 21% on Tuesday alone, lost $109 billion, and Facebook rounds it out at $89 billion. Pretty remarkable. And why not? We'll jump over to Tesla. Tesla. Look at this run it's had, folks. It's amazing the run it had up to 538, and that was last Tuesday. We're down to a low of 308 overnight. This morning, we're going to open about $21 higher to about 351 on Tesla. To back things up for some context on where we are in relation, Tesla came out with their stock split on August 11th. It was trading at about $270. Literally nothing has changed in this company since then. You had a run from 270 up to 502, really 538 overnight. Currently trading about 303. Maybe it's more comfortable right around this 300 area, which is where it was trading basically for the month of July and in the early part of August. Let's check around on some of those tech stocks this morning as we get the NQ futures up about 153. Apple closed at 112.82. We're up to about 115.75 this morning. Amazon shares trading from about 31.59 to 31.87. Microsoft shares up about $5 from 200 to 205. Google shares from 15.32 to 15.56, and we'll round it out with Facebook shares up a bit as well from 267 to 274. I saw an analyst note out this morning that said that the Facebook boycott had no real impact, and I had to shrug my shoulders and say, what is that analyst getting paid for that top secret intel that he's got? Because of course it had no impact, folks. Check out this chart. Excuse me. I think this might have been the Facebook boycott. I'm just guessing, but when you traded in June from about 242 down to a blip of maybe a low of about 207, and just like that, folks, we reach a high of 304. We're still trading at about 271 on Facebook. All right, what else we got going on? Mortgage demand from home buyers surges 40% from a year ago amid sales spree. Mortgage applications to purchase a home rose 3% last week from a previous week, and we're stunning 40% higher from a year ago. Mortgage rates, so we just went over it, right? Let's see. What are we sitting at for a 10-year yield right now? We're sitting at 0.68%. Remarkable. The end of August usually marks the beginning of the slow season for housing, but as with everything else, we live in interesting times, folks. This is not a normal year. Mortgage applications, as we said, 3% from last week and 40% from a year ago. The year-on-year comparison is usually in single digits, but not the case this year. Average contract interest rate for 30-year fixed-rate mortgages with a conforming loan balance of up to $510K fell to 3.07% from 3.08, points remaining unchanged at 0.36, including the origination fee for loans with a 20% down payment. For the 15-year fixed, how about 2.62%? Not bad for a 15-year. The average loan size continued to increase, hitting a survey high of $368,000. Housing market is on fire, especially in certain areas, right? Florida, very fortunate to be in Florida. Beautiful state, lots of beaches, no taxes for the state income taxes. The refinance share of mortgage activity increased to 63.1% of total applications from 62.5% the previous week. The adjustable rate mortgage share of activity decreased to 2.2%. Man, who's going after that adjustable rate? I understand maybe you're flipping a property, something like that. But I'd be locking in 3.07% as opposed to an adjustable. All right, what else we got going on? Sliding down. Casey's General Store out with their numbers. Convenience store operator, earnings $3.24 a share compared to $2.13. How about that? Revenue essentially in line, but they crushed it on earnings. They saw a bottom line benefit from lower expenses and improved fuel profits, which offset lower customer traffic. Gotta love that, right? Everybody loves lower fuel except for those fuel companies, but check it out. We're down to 166. Many times, folks, it's not, if you're taking in less money and you're somehow turning a profit, that's not going to be something that can be sustained. You always want to see Amazon's a king of it. They don't care how much money they make to the bottom line. They just want to grow their top line on a continual basis. And as we keep speaking, folks, market's edging up a bit. We're now at 33.68. You see the action. We're approaching basically pre-market highs. really remarkable when you look at where we were overnight, 32.95, but always interesting as we approach that market open. We'll see where they go. Checking in on some of those stocks, as we mentioned, with earnings last night. Lulu continuing to rise a bit from 324 last night to about 336. You had Slack earnings last night. We're up a bit from 23.27 to about 24.55, and we'll check on the VIX again. VIX, as the market continues to rise, we might get a 29 handle on that VIX by the end of the show. 30.11 right now on that volatility index. Stay tuned, folks. We'll come back after the break. We'll take a look at gold real quick. Gold trading at 1944. We were down at 1911 yesterday before gold charged higher. And we'll take a look at oil. Oil rebounding from the lows yesterday. Quite a dive to 36.13. Speaking of lower fuel prices, currently trading 37.57. Stay tuned, folks. I'll be right back in 3 minutes.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, as well as...
Whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step-by-step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps up 32, NASDAQ futures up 164, Dow up 201. To put things in context, we got a chart of the S&P up there, just putting it on a little bit of a daily. Quite a 3 days from 35 to 87. We've lost more than 200 S&P points. That's even from where we are right now, let alone keeping in mind we dipped below 3,300 last night. So you're talking about almost 300 S&P points in the span of about 4 trading days, and that almost brings you back. I mean, the highs of June We're talking about 32.31, and you traded to 32.95 last night. Okay, you traded within about 60 S&P points of where we were 3 months ago. Pretty amazing how these pullbacks can be that quick. All right, what else we got going on? Speaking of peaks, Basil Chapman, our man. 1 week from today, folks, Wednesday, September 16th, he'll be in there for a full day webinar with subscribers for signing up for this day course, the Chapman Wave Methodology, an all-day live webinar with Basil Chapman. This course is $395. With that course comes a month of his daily newsletter, $128, the opening call. You get that immediately. You sign up, you gain access to the newsletter. Basil will also send you an emailed booklet with the key Chapman Wave techniques to go over that before the course. He's going to be in there at 9 in the morning. He'll go over things before the market, 9 till noon, a 3-hour session in the morning. He'll take a lunch break, another 3-hour session in the afternoon, and then he'll kind of combine things for a review and a prepare for the next day's trading session. I encourage you to check it out, folks. I went to the last one Basil did. I'll be going to this one as well. Really a great educator. He's able to really do a great job of kind of explaining the methodology he goes through and going over live charts, of course, as the markets open. That will be archived as well. All right, jumping around to what else we have going on in terms of earnings coming up. So this week, we have some more earnings. Tonight, after the bell, we get GameStop and Restoration Hardware. GameStop, there's their action. They're trading a little bit higher today to $7.95. They come out with their numbers. Also, Restoration Hardware out with their numbers. You want to see a beautiful chart, folks? How about that? From 73 to 345. They better come out with some decent numbers after the bell. And we got Peloton tomorrow as well, and Oracle. Stay tuned, folks. Larry Pezzavento, he's coming up live next with Trade What You See. We'll be right back.